This world can be an ugly place, I know. So many folks don't seem to worry about a lot that ain't their own. One day our hearts will finally see.
Hello and welcome. This is The Art of Giving Up, your podcast for giving up bad days, bad ways, unfortunate habits, bad relationships. Sometimes just giving up because it's good for your mental health. As always, I'm your host, Steven, and I want to thank you, yes, you, for joining me on this, my journey of self-improvement, my journey of growth, and hopefully a journey of understanding. This week, we're talking about taking a day off, which, yes, I know sounds like I'm talking about vacations. We all need sometimes a day off. This time I'm talking about something a little bit more, that feeling, that thing that happens when you take one day off. You take your eyes off of a topic or a subject or a project for one day and everything changes. And you might notice I sound different, and that's because I did that. I took a day off because last week was my birthday, and I thought that it would be fine. Just take a day off, whatever. Write a quick little blog, post it on, habitofwellness.wordpress.com. And I sit down today to record. And I can't find my $300 audio recorder thing. So I'm back in front of my computer. So if I sound a little different, it's alright. But I think it definitely, contributes to the topic about what happens when you take a day off. And I don't mean that you take a day off and everything falls apart. I don't mean that you take a day off and everything changes and everything is different. No, I mean a little bit, but it's not always negative. When you sometimes take time to yourself, or you take your attention or your need or your will or control over a topic or subject or like a relationship, sometimes you'll come back to it and you'll find, like my Zoom, it's gone, or it's changed, or feelings aren't the same. And like right now, I feel like a loss of control, because I feel like I can't really do this as good as I want to without part of my tools, and then it makes me feel kind of bad because I spent all those hundreds and hundreds of dollars on that other mic and the little mixer thing and stuff like that. And until I find it, if I ever do, it'll be, I'll be doing this, and then this lost money, and then I can't afford to buy a new one, so it'll be a really long time before I can replace it if it's lost, but it shouldn't be. And I think about it, and, that's the thing. So we don't really have control over really anything because there are just too many externalities, When you look at the things that you think you have control over, you don't. And it's not really a bad thing, but I think it's definitely very jarring and way more pronounced when you step away from a situation. I think about a friend that you see every day. Like, think about you're in high school, you see your friend every day, you see Joshua every single day, and he looks the same to you, but then, I don't know, you don't see him for 2 weeks, and then he's like, it looks different. Wow, your hair is different, you're wearing different clothes. Things are changing every day, and things are always shifting, and things are always out of our, but for some reason, as people, we have this weird sense of control, like when we're right next to something or when we're holding on to something, it's almost as if like, hey, because I'm looking at it, because I'm participating in it, I can control the outcome, or I understand what's going on. But there are just too many externalities. For example, like my Zoom, I don't know where it is, and I probably did something with it, but I can't really control that. I couldn't control if I did or did not lose it. I could have been more careful with it. I could have put it away in the same place every time, which I think I did. But obviously I didn't. because I can't even control myself. How can I think or pretend to control things that are outside of me or to control people? And you'll notice I mentioned in this week's blog at habitofwellness.wordpress.com, you'll see that I posted a little bit portion about relationships, not just romantic relationships, but friendships as well, and I know that I myself have been guilty of having friendships, and when I step away, or, here's a good example is that, like, in high school, I had like 2 groups of friends, and I was so intent on them being friends with each other, so I would always get us all to hang out, but if I wasn't there, there'd be conflict, and people wouldn't really connect, and they didn't really want to hang out. And it's like, you can't control things. Things are so complex, especially people, especially relationships with others, especially romantic relationships. And I know if I sat down and asked you, like, oh, do you think that you could control your partner? Do you think you could control your friend? Do you think you could control how the people that are around you feel about you or the thing is related to you? And it's like, all right, no, you probably say no. And it's true, because you can't. But we do try. And we try by thinking and figuring out, it's like, okay, so how do I make this romantic relationship work? She'll always love me if I'm always on time, if I always support her, if I always give her the support that she says that she needs, or he, or they, or them, whatever, floats your boat, I don't care, You look at that and it's like, all right, well, you think in your mind, subconsciously, that as long as you do that you have control of the situation. As long as you do that, you're meeting these expectations, these goals, these things, these milestones, these bullet points, these check marks. You feel like you're doing the thing that you need to do. When, in fact, they're not fickle. People are complex, and people have things outside of you. They have experiences and lives that don't include you. And that's not bad, but it's so jarring when you're gone for one day and everything just seems to fall apart. Everything just seems to be different. It's not different. It's the same. It's just when you look at something for so long, it's like it never changes. It's the same thing with a project, Sometimes I'll sit and I'll start writing. It's like, I'm going to write, yes. And I'll get 10, 12 paragraphs. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to take a nap. And it's going to be there. And this is my mind and my thoughts. And I can control that. And I'm going to wake up the next day. And there you go again. Externalities. Maybe the electricity is gone. Maybe I lose my Zoom. Maybe I break my finger. Maybe I don't feel well. Maybe I just lose the motivation, or the concepts that I was thinking about are gone. They're like that in the air. That's really the thing. But we all need a day off. And it's really to gain perspective, because I've learned that unfortunately when you're in a situation, when you spend every day doing something, when you spend every day in a place with people, work, I just experienced that. I had last year, Starbucks was probably the worst year of my life. It was not really good, but when you're in there and you're there every day, you get acclimated to the aches, the pains, the drama, the stress, the travel. You get acclimated to it, and so since you're used to it, it all just kind of normalizes, because humans, as I know you've probably heard before, humans are absolutely resilient. We are awesome, resilient creatures. And, no matter what we do, or like, it just seems okay. We can be hurt, we could be abused, we could have all of our time taken up, we could go through emotional duress over and over and over again. And as long as it's continual, we'll kind of normalize. We'll hit like a weird baseline. And you don't believe me, think about a relationship, or especially, because I feel like relationships are good for this, and I'm including friendships in this. Like maybe you have a friend who, you spend a lot of time with, you care for. Maybe if you really think about it, you don't care about them as much as you used to. You don't care about them as much as you think you do. But you look at the situation and you're just so acclimated to having them there. You're just so used to being there with them. You're so used to having them around, that you spend time with them. And then one day, spend time with them. You're sitting in your house, your room, or you're at dinner with other friends. And you start talking or thinking, and it hits you like, there's not really any value to this person, to this relationship. That matter of perspective is important, and sometimes also it'll help you recenter yourself, because you just take a little, especially like with a project, I'm focusing on the negative things, but you sit there and you write, and it's like, yeah, this is great, this is amazing. And then you go to sleep, you wake up, and with that new perspective, with that new day, with those new experiences, with the influence of those new externalities, you look at your work and you're like, wow, that is absolute crap. Because sometimes it is. Sometimes your work is crap. That's just how it works. And just like with this, maybe sitting in front of this computer doing it like this, maybe this is better. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I needed a shift, a change. Maybe I was getting too acclimated to doing this podcast, the way that I was doing it before. Maybe with this one experience, I'll find my Zoom H4, H5, my Zoom H5, and I will appreciate doing this more. And maybe in doing it, I'll have experience having gone back to this. And then I'll, be reinvigorated. I don't know. But it's not always negative. That's why vacations are important. I was reading something on Reddit about how they do this thing with I think CPAs or something, like accountants, where you're in charge of a hedge fund, but they make you take a mandatory 2-week vacation. They don't tell you when, but they make you take a mandatory 2-week vacation. 1, to relieve you of the stress, and 2, so that they could check your work. They have somebody else go in there and they can make sure that other people are trained and understand how to do the work too. And I think that that's the kind of thing we actually need in real life. You need to take some time to yourself, maybe not so somebody can come in and check your work, so you can check your own work. So you could step away and you could reevaluate the things that are going on in your life, what's important to you, and think about the way that you do things, and think about the way that you maintain things. Like maybe because I lost my Zoom, right? Like in the future, I don't know, I take better care of my stuff. And because of that, if I get engaged or something, I take better care of my ring and I don't lose it. Because that one time that I spent $300 and I lost my voice recorder, you really got to look at things positively. You got to really take your time and really think. And that's what it's about. I feel very fortunate that I can do this. With or without, or a mic recorder, or with a different mic, a different workflow. I just feel fortunate. I feel fortunate to be here with you, to be able to share my thoughts with you, to be able to write my blog and to share with you. It's scary. And I almost gave up today. But I don't want to give up. And Maybe it just makes me stubborn, but I think that taking time away has made me realize, not just in this, but in many things. Like in the past, when I've taken time away, it's made me realize how much I value what I had. And sometimes you don't always appreciate the time. You don't always appreciate the effort or the love. You don't always appreciate what you have. But I know that I appreciate this. And I appreciate you. I hope that you take some time to yourself. Some time to reflect, to think, to hope, to meditate, to pray, to love, to write, to think. I hope that you're able to take a little bit of time to yourself. And with that time, well, that you'll get that perspective that you need. Because we all need a little we all need a little change. I'll stick with this. Somebody once told me the world is good. Yeah, I can't sing. Feel so fortunate. Now, of course, as always, this has been The Art of Giving Up. I'm your host, Steven. I want to thank you for joining me. And of course, remember, you're not alone. If you want to, you can reach out at any time. artofgivinguppodcast@gmail.com. DA Art of Giving Up on Twitter, The Art of Giving Up on Facebook, and Art of Giving Up on Instagram. Follow me, add me, talk to me if you're alone, if you're ever sad, you ever need any support. Trust me, I know. I'm here for you. We're in this together. Thank you. And remember, happiness is a habit. Peace.
Save me but you. It's strange what desire will make foolish people.